Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to I don't know what I'm going to call this one, because it's about patches, and I haven't got like with the other ones I've been doing these videos. I've been doing like CD chat, vinyl viewings, and t-shirt talk, which is obviously the same letters corresponding. But for this one, I don't know. It's going to be patches, something patches. I can't think of anything. If you could think of anything that it could be called, because I'm going to do a few. I've got a few. I've got loads of patches, and I've got a few jackets, and I want to talk about them and show what I've got. And with this jacket, which took me probably 6 years to do in total, of either buying the patches, because there's a lot on here, and planning, and there'd be different. I'd done different layouts, and now all that, and sort of. So it probably took me, got to be close to 6 years in total. So I've got a lot of patches on here, which I'm actually going to take off. I'm going to take all these patches off, and I'll tell you why in a bit. I'm going to go through what I've got on here. I've got other patches on other jackets. I've got other patches in a drawer that need to be sewed. So there's going to be a fair few episodes of patches. So if you can think of something, what to call this, because I'm at the moment out of ideas, leave me a comment, and I'll consider it, and I might call it that. So basically, just wanted to go through what I've got on here. So we'll start with the front left. So we've got Metallica, Ride the Lightning, classic, Kyuss, brilliant, desert rock. Got Clutch, White Snake, and I've tried to, when I put these on, this is like several different layouts. So I've put them on, then I've rearranged them, and I've managed to get, I've just covered it, a cluster of patches. I've tried to sort of cover them, but keep them on top, and arrange them. So sometimes I'll spend an hour just with this section, just like laying them down, rearranging, laying them down, rearranging. And then I'll think to myself, yeah, that's okay. I'll start sewing them on. Then sometimes I wouldn't be happy, so maybe unpick a couple of, but so much planning, takes ages to do. And with this, I've managed to keep all the pockets work, which I was super chuffed with. I mean, look at that. They all work, look, and that took me so long to do, to not sew through the pockets. It took, some of them were a nightmare to get on. And also you've got all the thick seams to sew through as well, and just like some of it's been blood, sweat and tears, and there is blood on this somewhere where I've snapped a needle and it's gone onto the jacket, pierced my skin like. So yeah, so I've tried to do it in a certain way that they all cover each other, but we don't ruin the integrity of the patch. So I've got Napalm Death, Cannibal Corpse, and Carcass. Now I've got those three as a mini sort of an Autopsy as well, as a mini sort of a death metal theme. This is a bit of a everything jacket. It's just basically one of my favourite bands, really. So there's no sort of theme. You can get some people who do jackets with certain themes, certain genre of metal or whatever, but this is just whatever I like. So these are all bands that I've been massively into over the years, sort of as I've been like over a sort of 25, 30 years. Bon Scott, Monster Magnet, stoner rock, metal, Pantera, DRI, great patch that is. I love that. It's one of my favourites. It's Thrash Zone. I love that logo, and it's cool. You see this one quite a lot, but normally you don't see that little post. I know it's like a little detail, but you normally just see the square. But that's got the post, which is quite cool. Got Vader. I quite like this little section here because I've managed to really cram these ones in. So we've got Volbeat on the side, a tiny little Megadeth one, Destruction, a little bit of Pink Floyd there, just about squeezed in, Faith No More, Destruction, right, it's getting a bit messy in it, HME at the bottom, which is a YouTube channel by two guys called Dan, and they're worth following. Heavy Metal Entertainment, that's for. They got a patch, and then right on the front we're sort of going off to the side. So we've got Death Angel, Gojira, Dio, Annihilator, Accept out the gates. I think that came with a CD, I think that did. And then I got Skid Row, who's a big Skid Row fan years and years ago. My Dying Bride, Catatonia, Black Sabbath, I think that's a vintage one, that Black Sabbath one. Got Decapitated, Mastodon, and AC/DC. So that's just that on. That's just the front left. So what's on the front right? I can't remember after these, to be honest with you. Okay, what we got? So we got Neurosis, Times of Grace. Love Neurosis. Love them. Evil, another Neurosis one. I got that from when I saw them in 2016. I think I saw them at Coco. That's just cool patch. The Sickles, which they're associated with. Iced Earth, Satyricon, an old school band, 1980, I do believe this album came out. Demon, just traditional heavy metal. New Wobum, as they say. Classic. This is a brilliant album. If you don't know it, recommend it so much. Unfortunately, I could only get the printed version of this. There wasn't a woven patch, and it's already sort of started. The trouble with these printed patches is they're not very good quality. They don't last. There's a rip in that, so that's probably going to go more, but it's not too bad at the moment. But Exodus, Deicide, Rainbow at the top here, slotted in with a little pin badge. And then what else have I got? Grand Magus, which is, I met them and I got them to sign it. Don't know if you can see that. Met them at Bloodstock, get them to sign it. Hatebreed, Behemoth, Municipal Waste, Strapping Young Lad. That's a bigger patch than it looks. A lot of it's black, so I've just sort of sewed and just got the logo in. And what else we got? Candlemass, Woods of Ypres, I think that's how you say it. Overkill, Dying, which was a Metal Hammer, Dying Bag. Faith No More, Entombed. Did I say that? I don't know. Overkill, Slayer, Demon Borgia. That was a free patch with a CD as well. Yeah, Meshuggah. That's the only one I've got which is on its side. I just did that so I could just fit the side of the pocket, and obviously this pocket works as well. And then I've got Slayer, Type of Negative at the bottom, Lynyrd Skynyrd, and Rush, which I love that album. Not the biggest Rush fan in the world, but do love that album. It's amazing. And I got In Flames. That's a great album. I'm not into them now. Don't like their new direction, the way they've gone. I just don't like it. Anthrax. That's the front. And then I've got a Star Wars one. And then I've got a Sacred Reich, Arch Enemy, King Diamond, Conspiracy, which King Diamond is a little bit hit and miss for me, but I love this album. I love it. I love it. It's so good. And then, so we've got the back next. Now I've got an Anathema on the shoulder, on the neck. Love Anathema. What else we got on here? We got Memoriam. Great death metal band from Carl Willits from Bolt Thrower. Godflesh, love Godflesh. I've only seen them twice, but they've just blown me away. They're brilliant. At the Gates, which is one of my favourite patches. I love that, and I've managed to get that Saxon one sort of just sewn on top of it, and then a little bit of a filler up here. Well, I've got Soilwork, Onslaught, Dream Theater, and Nail Bomb. I love how I've managed to sort of slot them in. And what else we got? Big old school Aussie patch, Bark at the Moon. Love that. It's amazing. That's quite. I think that's an original one from like 80s or something. I'm not sure. Got Sepultura, Arise. Best album they did, in my opinion. I love that album all the way through from start to finish. And on Mirroring on the other side, got Beneath the Remains, which is quality. And I've kind of done a similar thing. I've got Maiden on the side here, and I've got another one. So we've got Somewhere in Time, we've got Number of the Beast, and then underneath, these are all classic albums really. Motorhead, love that album. I don't know if it is regarded as a masterpiece, but I think it's a really solid album. I do. And again, Death, Sound of Perseverance, and then Judas Priest, and then Fear Factory at the bottom there. Underneath this Fear Factory one, I can't remember. Right, this is mental. I think Dino has signed it underneath. I don't think it's Burton. I think it's Dino. He's signed. There's a signature under there, and the reason why it's under there is because he signed the jacket. I didn't actually want him to sign the jacket. I wanted him to sign the patch, but he signed the jacket, and then I could have sewed around it, but I didn't know how to do it, so I didn't know what to do really. So there's basically the signature under there. I've got Ministry, Blind Guardian, Nine Inch Nails. What else we got? Creator. I got this one as well, Obituary. That's signed. That's when I met them at. I think that's just John Tardy though. I only got John Tardy to sign that. That's when I met him at Bloodstock, because John Tardy's my favourite death metal vocalist, without a doubt. He's just amazing. I just think he's got such an amazing voice. He suits Obituary's sound to a T. We've got Testament, and I've got a nice Cannibal Corpse patch there, which I love that. What else we got? So down underneath Maiden, oh yeah, we've got Death, we've got Bonded by Blood. They're pretty cool. They got a new album coming out, I think. They had a bit of a hiatus, but they got a new album. I'm sure they're working on one. It's been a long time since they've released anything, and they got Machine Head and a little, that's a bit of an old Def Leppard patch as well, Prong. And then we're going round now to the other side. So we've got Alice Cooper, Tool, Deep Purple, little earache, just a little earache one there, just filling in, little gap. Amon Amarth. That Amon Amarth one is similar to the Strapping Young Lad. It's there's a lot more to it, but it's sort of, I just fitted it in really. Cradle of Filth, which Dusk and Her Embrace. I love that album. I used to be a bit into Cradle of Filth. I've lost interest in them a bit, but I still love that album. I think it's fantastic, so I had to get that patch. And I think that covers everything. You wouldn't believe how heavy this is. Oh, the one I haven't said about is Fair Dues patch on the front. That was made by a couple of friends, Michelle Mishmash. She organised this, and it's a phrase I say a lot. I say it a lot. So fair dues, fair dues. So and I mean I've been saying this for years. Really, it's a long time, sort of 20 odd years. But there is actually a punk band called Fair Dues. Now I don't know anything about them. It's not after the punk band. It's after me saying Fair Dues. So it's a custom made patch, and I love that. So and yeah, I think that's all of them. Basically, I'm going to be taking all these off, and I don't really want to be honest with you, but the jacket's too big. If I've got like a big hoodie on, it fits okay, but not half the time I'm wearing my jacket to indoors where it's quite warm, or a summer show, summer festival. So I don't need to wear a big hoodie. I can just wear it on top of a t-shirt, and by the time when I put it on the t-shirt, the jacket's too big and it dwarfs me, and the shoulders, they kind of stick out because all the rigidity of the patches, and I look like somebody from the 80s with the shoulder pads. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to unpick it all. Now, like I say, I spent a lot of time doing this. It's 6 years with so many different. It's had different layouts. Originally, I didn't have a back patch. I just had the small patches. So I just have dotted about, and there was space in between them. And I've took them off, rearranged it, put a back patch on, probably moved them. And I forgot about this Megadeth one. That's quite cool. That's a nice old Megadeth patch. So it's had loads of different arrangements, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to take them all off. So what am I going to do? Well, I want to do a jacket which is going to have like stoner bands on, and doom bands and sludge bands. So some of these, like Caius, they'll go on another jacket. And then I was thinking about doing a Maiden jacket, because I've got a fair few Maiden patches, so I could take these off. I mean, there's only 2 on this one, but. And then I've got a random jacket, and I don't know really, but basically I'm just going to use these patches and shove them on other jackets, and then at least I'll have a few more projects to do. I've got 3, got this one, and then I've got a classic vintage old school metal type jacket. It's got Maiden on, Van Halen and Guns N' Roses, but all vintage patches. So there's a couple on here I could possibly take off, put on that. I've got a general one which I originally did with just the leftovers of whatever patches I had left over, and I've still got some space on that. I've got about 6 Mastodon on that, so I could put that Mastodon on there, on that other jacket, and then it's just a case of just figuring out what I want to do with the rest. But I've got loads of patches, so watch this space, and if you think of a name, what I can call it, something patchy, patches, I don't know, think of whatever, give me a shout. So yeah, give me a like if you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next vid. Bye.